Hello, friends and people of the internet. Thank you for checking out this episode of the 15-Minute BJ podcast. I'm your host, BJ Jezbera, and today we're going to talk about something a little more serious, a little more heavy. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to all of those who have supported this podcast over the past few episodes that we've been doing this. It's been a journey. I started this podcast about a year ago, and it's been something I've really enjoyed growing and doing, and it wouldn't be where it is without the people who have helped me get here. So to anybody that's been on this show, to anybody that's ever helped me with an idea for this show, or anybody that listens to this show, just thank you for supporting me and giving me something to do here. Now, as far as the heavy subject, I don't want you guys to think that this is going to be one of those internet cries for help. This isn't this isn't something that I want you guys to feel worried about me for. I just think this is an opportunity. And by this is an opportunity, I mean this podcast is an opportunity for me to do more than just what I'm already doing out in the world, which is playing music and sharing my music with the world. This podcast is a chance for me to kind of share myself with the world, and I haven't seen it that way, but what's going to keep this podcast going forward, I think, is now that I see it that way, it's a chance for me to kind of open up a little bit more and do what I can't do on stage, which is really use my mouth. I would love to be able to, but most of the gigs that I play are just shut up and play your songs, monkey boy. So this podcast is going to become more of one of those where it's still directed about music, but more or less how it ties into my life. And whether or not it's going to become the biggest, most successful podcast, I don't care. This is just something that I do, and I like to include my friends in to give them something to do and just something positive that I'm trying to put out there. So thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me a chance to try something different, not just music, but thank you for giving me this chance. Today, the heavy, serious subject that I'd like to cover, though, is something that has kept me from doing this podcast for the last couple of months, and it's really, I'm the only one to blame. That's not really a blame type situation, but it's just more of, it was a personal reason why it didn't come out, and I figure what's better than, what's better podcast fodder than something personal, right? So for the past couple months, I think I've just been in a funky, depressed kind of down feeling, and it's hard to be productive and do things when I feel that way. And it took me a while to figure out even why I was feeling that way. It just kind of came on one day, and I would find myself just choking up and not being able to really get through things that I wanted to do through the day, like sending emails or just handling, business stuff. I would be able to make it to shows and play, and I'd be able to, go out and face the world if I had to. But if I was by myself, usually I was just kind of in a funk, and I would sit at my house and not really do much. I might just play Xbox and tune the whole world out. And I don't know how you handle yours, but I notice when I start getting sad, I just kind of start tuning things out, or I just kind of detach from whatever is going on. And it's not the healthiest way to handle it, but hey, that's how I do it. When I realized, though, that it was starting to be more than just a day-long funk, is when I started to get worried about it, and started to really kind of turn the eyes inward and start psychoanalyzing myself. So let's dive into that, shall we? What happened when I started doing that was realize that I was starting to feel guilty for feeling bad, and that's never a good way to be, especially if you don't know really how to make yourself feel better right away. If you start feeling sad and you start feeling guilty for feeling sad on top of that, then it's just a whole mess of negative feelings. So for the past couple months, that's what I was dealing with, was feeling bummed that what I'm doing as far as playing music and shows and trying to live off of playing music, I was starting to feel guilty that I was even feeling sad, because this is an opportunity that not a lot of people get. Not a lot of people even know what they want to do with their life. And I understand that, and I think about that all the time, that, even people that I know that are in my circle maybe never address it, maybe never even say it to me, but I know that they're out there and they don't know what they want out of life, and that's their major frustration. And I feel like for me, I'm fortunate enough to know what I want, and I'm chasing it, and I'm going down after it, but there's still bumps along that road. And we are all the same, which, I really would like to stress during this podcast, is we're all the same. We're all going through the same shit. So whether you're just working a 9 to 5 or you're chasing some type of dream or an artistic vision, then just know we are all the same, and it's no excuse to separate ourselves or to not help somebody else in another position, So if you're a 9 to 5 person and you start to see someone struggling around you, you need to get out there. You need to make sure that they're okay, and you need to get out and help them be okay. And likewise, hopefully you've surrounded yourself with people who are going to do that for you. For me, I've been very fortunate to have great people around me who not only kind of let me be in my funk for a while, but um, they understood that it wasn't going to be forever, and they offered all the support and care they could throughout, which I feel like is the reason I've decided to keep pushing on, keep pushing forward, is because I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for everybody around me. I'm doing this for the people that can't, for the people that maybe don't know what they want. I know what I want, and I'm going to keep pushing, and hopefully that's just an inspiration to the people that listen to this, to the people that watch me do what I do. We can't all play music. We can't all play guitar and sing our own songs and do that stuff, but you can do something. You can keep pushing forward and being productive. And that's what I feel like is going to keep you from being depressed. It's good to be productive and do things. So for me, step one, getting out of this depression, was doing something, being productive. And not just in a music way. For some people, you would imagine that if you're a musician and you're sad and depressed, just write a sad, depressed song and boom, you're out of it. But for me, it's more of I just felt stuck. I felt like I wasn't progressing anywhere, and music felt like the thing that was stuck to me. And every time I picked up a guitar or tried to sing a song or write something new, I would just hit this block. I would hit a block of feeling stuck. Like, what's the point? Why am I doing this? And I know that you can feel that doing anything, not just music. So if you're feeling stuck, what I would recommend doing is try switching gears. Try just jumping into another track for a while. Don't give up what you're doing. Don't quit your job. Don't leave this world. Don't do anything drastic. Just jump into another path for a little bit. Try on somebody else's shoes, Start drawing, start writing, do comedy, watch more movies, do whatever makes you happy, or just do something you've never done before and see if that makes you happy. If all the stuff you're doing doesn't make you happy, try something totally new, and maybe that is the key. But don't stop what you're doing. Don't give up. Don't quit, because that's how I feel like the negative things win, is when you quit. So don't quit. I didn't quit, and I'm not going to quit. But what I am going to do is continue to try and be productive and put things out and do things and push myself in a forward position or a forward motion. Because I don't get raises and I don't get promotions. I don't get any types of pats on the back usually. It's usually just the paycheck at the end of the gig and you're done. So I need to stop focusing on that and start really trying to just progress myself as a person, do more things, and finish things. I feel like doing this podcast helps me, because when I hit stop at the end of an episode, I've finished something, I've put it out. And that was the original idea behind doing this. Like a year ago when I started it, was just to do something, to get something out there that benefits me and also gives my friends a chance to do something, by interviews, by giving me ideas for it, whatever it may be. It was just a chance to do something and get something done. And I feel like not doing the podcast over the couple of months that I wasn't doing the podcast, or when I was, depressed, wasn't doing me any favors. So you can expect to see a lot more episodes of the 15-minute BJ coming out. Hopefully we're going to stick to that weekly schedule. If not, maybe even a couple extra a week, just to keep doing things and keep pushing myself forward. And if you're worried that I'm still, bummed or depressed or sad or whatever, I'm not. I've kind of had enough time to sit back and realize where I was and why I was feeling so shitty. And it took me a while to figure it out. But once I figured out also that the game plan for fixing it is to just keep doing things and not be afraid to vocalize this feeling. I think that's another big part, is when you feel bad or you feel down, you're afraid to tell somebody, or you're afraid to talk to somebody because you're embarrassed, or you just think that they're not going to care, or even worse, that they're going to be mad at you for being sad, or they're going to not understand. And, that might be true for somebody. That might be true for the first person you talk to. That might be true for whatever. But there is always somebody out there that cares and will listen to you, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a professional. There is always somebody out there. And talking to people is important. So for me, I've got this podcast and I'm talking to you. And I've also talked to my friends and family. They're all great at helping me get out of funky places. But if you feel like you don't have that, if you feel like you don't have someone in your immediate circle, don't be ashamed to look for professional help. I fully recommend it. I think if more people would admit that they're not feeling good, more people would help them feel good. You just can't sit in it. You can't stew in it. You got to push forward. You got to do something. You got to keep moving forward. And there's really nothing else you can do about it. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, just know that you got to talk to somebody about it. And while you're trying to figure out the words to tell the people that you're feeling, do something else. Just jump into another lane for a while and try something that's out of what you normally do. So don't quit. Just don't quit. Don't give up. Keep pushing, because you're not going to feel better if you quit. If you give up, you're going to feel 10 times worse. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about this episode. And I just wanted to make sure that anybody out there listening knows that we all have things going on in our lives. We've all got shit going on, but there's no reason to quit. And it's never too late for a comeback. So this episode marks our comeback. The 15-Minute BJ is going to come back strong, and we're going to keep going. And if you are a subscriber and you've been wondering where we were at, well, this is it. That was happening. And we're out of it. We're going to be back next week with another episode. So make sure to check that out. I don't know if it's going to be an interview. I don't know if it's going to be just me and Brian sitting down, broing down as usual. We'll see. But it will be coming out next week, and that you can count on. So thank you for listening to me vent for the last 15 minutes. This is BJ Jezbera checking out for the 15-Minute BJ podcast. And just one last time, if you feel stuck, if you feel sad, if you feel depressed, just know you're not alone, and it doesn't last forever. So just make sure you reach out to somebody, you tell them how you're feeling, and while you're doing that, you try something new. Maybe that's what'll make you happy. Who knows? But in this crazy world, we're all together, and we need to help each other out. So feel free to leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever you got to do to let me know that you are listening, because I want to hear who's out there. So if you want to comment with your name and where you're listening from, that would be awesome. I'd love to shout you out next episode. This episode, I'm not going to play a song myself, but I am going to play you a song from myself back in, I think like 2012. This was recorded. It's an old demo from a band I was in called Add the Color, and it was a very positive band. It was a band that we tried to really just make people happy with, and I feel like making people happy is the whole job of what an entertainer is here to do. So hopefully this song makes you happy and you like it. It's an old demo of a song we recorded in our own garage. And I think that also speaks for something that, if you want to do something, just do it. And that's going to make you so happy when you finish it, because you did it. Nobody can take it from you, and you can do it again and again and again and again. Once you've done something once, you can repeat it. So this is a song by a band called Add the Color. I was in this band. You might hear my voice. And the song is called Not Alone, because you're not alone. And I love you. So have a great week. I'll see you guys next week. This is the 15-Minute BJ podcast, and I'm out of here. Spinning all around you, the walls are closing in. You can't stop, why'd you even begin? We've all been there, done that before. Just learn from your mistakes, pick yourself up off the floor. Pick yourself up off the floor. Don't believe the stories they tell. You're not alone. Keep your head up, don't let it get you down. Promise not to go.
yourself